Hello, everyone. This is Linus Literature Library, reading between the lines where stories come alive. So, we are on the final episode on this book, Lessons from Prison Graduates. Why this play still matters to today. So, explored the story, the themes, the characters, the literary brilliance of this remarkable play. Today, we are bringing together everything, okay, by asking one simple question. What can we learn from prison graduates? What can we learn from this write-up? 87 pages. Now, it's a great literary work. But then you know one thing, great literature is more than entertainment. It teaches us, challenges us, and sometimes even changes us. So Prison Graduate is one of those rare plays that contributes to speak to readers years after it has written or years after it was written, because the issues it addresses are still with us. Let's explore some of its most important lessons. So, lesson number one, leadership is a responsibility, not a privilege. One of the strongest messages in the play is that leadership should be about service. So when leaders become more interested in personal wealth, power, or prestige than in the welfare of the people, society suffers. Now, poor decisions affect education, healthcare, employment, justice, and the economy. Now, the play reminds us that good leadership is measured not by titles, but by the positive impact leaders have on the lives of ordinary people. So, this lesson applies not only to prestigious people in society, not only to presidents, not only to ministers, not only to DCs or the assembly members, no, but also to teachers, parents, religious leaders, especially, and anyone entrusted with responsibilities. Corruption harms everyone. The next lesson, corruption harms everyone. So, corruption may seem like a shortcut to success, but the play shows that its effects spread throughout the society. When public money is often stolen, schools lack resources, hospitals become poorly equipped, roads remain unfinished, young people lose opportunities. In the end, corruption punishes even those who think they benefited from it. Because at the end of the day, no one gets to even benefit. The lesson is clear. Honesty is not merely a personal virtue, okay? It is essential for national development. It is like the main ingredient. Like, honesty becomes like the salt in the soup. Judge people by their appearance. Never judge people or a person by his or her appearance. So, one of the most surprising aspects of the play is that some people inside prison display qualities that are more admirable than people outside. Meanwhile, some respected members of society behave in deeply unethical ways. E.K.Mawugbe reminds us that appearance can be deceptive. Okay, so character is measured by actions, not by your status, your wealth, your social position, no, but by your actions. So, this is an important lesson in a world where people are often judged by outward success rather than by integrity. Lesson number 4, education alone is not enough. Education alone is not enough. Plays enormous value on education, especially in Africa here. We place so much weight, so much value, so much on education. But prison graduates reminds us that education without integrity can become dangerous. An educated person who lacks honesty may use knowledge to exploit others instead of serving society. So, true education, the true education, should shape both the mind and the character. So, knowledge, knowing, and then morality. Knowledge and morality must go hand in hand. You can't just say you are so knowledgeable, but then what you do behind closed doors is so immoral that you can't even fathom how these two can live within one person. So knowledge and morality must go hand in hand. If you know, if you are a lawyer, if you are you've studied hard to get there, you are the judge, the I don't know, but then morally you are corrupt, then you are lost. Lesson number 5. Every citizen has a role to play. Every citizen, E.K.Mawugbe is telling us that every citizen has a role to play. So it is easy to blame politicians or governments for society's problems. But that woman who just bought one sachet of water, after drinking, then drops that liter to the floor, whilst she has a baby strapped behind her. So that baby looks on and does the same thing years to come. The play challenges us to look inward, closely around us. Every act of dishonesty, however small, contributes to the larger problem. Likewise, every act of honesty helps build a better society. Okay, so national transformation begins with individual choices. What I am doing today, does it serve my good? Does it serve my children peace? Does it serve my children, my future generations, like my unborn children? Does it serve them any good? You ask yourself that. Someone said, "Oh, my name is you. Manyogo. Manyogo. Go do manyogo." Permit me to speak away. Gay him a dofie. I'm recommending wagain. Who said that? No one can just. No one can. It's doomed. No. We ain't doomed. Enyoga. Ebeye ye. It depends on you and our choices today. At a point in time, we have to draw the line. So from this novel, you ask yourself, what can students learn from this novel after everything said here? If you're a student, this play teaches you that success should never come at the expense of your values. Don't think of making it today and lose your values. Lose speaking out, speaking the truth, being honest. Okay, don't look at me being okay, having money, having a car at a younger age, owning this, owning that, owning this, owning that, being seen at the top, being the favorite amongst my peers. Don't rush into that and forsake your values. Forsake what makes you a gentleman. Forsake what makes you a lady. But then what? Work hard. Be patient. Develop what we call integrity. When we say integrity, doing the right thing, whether someone sees you or not, even in the darkness, even in your hideout. Okay? So your qualifications are important, but your character will determine the kind of person you become. The play also encourages students to think critically rather than accepting society as it is. So education should help you ask better questions and seek better solutions. What can politicians also learn? Politicians and leaders, both in all fields, okay, religious politicians or so religious leaders, politicians, etc. What can they all learn from this write-up. For leaders, prison graduates serve as a kind of warning. Power is temporary. No matter how long you feel you are seated up there, your time is going to come. The end of your service is going to come. So the decisions leaders make today, you should know that it's going to affect generations yet unborn. Good governance earns trust. Corruption destroys trust. So history remembers leaders not for the promise they made. Students remember teachers not for the promises they've made to the learners, but for the lives they've improved. Students grew up to remember their teachers for how much they've impacted their lives, not for teaching them content or word to word in the textbook. No. How much they've impacted them. It can be socially, emotionally, financially, psychologically, in all aspects. It's the same way that history is going to remember leaders. Not for the promises, we promise you this, we promise you that, we promise you huge roads, no. But it's going to remember them for how much lives they've been able to improve, how much job opportunities they've been able to create, how much they've been able to invest back into their people. Now let's come to teachers. What can teachers learn from this book? So as a teacher, our work is to shape the next generation. So our responsibility goes beyond helping students pass examination. Okay, so we must also teach honesty, responsibility, compassion, and critical thinking. Not only teaching it, but acting it ourselves in our actions and inactions. So a society with educated but unethical citizens cannot prosper. Not at all. So teachers therefore play a vital role in nation building. What can parents learn? Woyɛ baatan, woyɛ papa a wawo baaba wiase. Woyɛ obi a wonwoyɛ so wohwɛ nkɔfo ma. Enye jila, ejivi, majivi po kakakwa ma obetoji. Nuka sroga la cho niemo. What would you learn from this writer? Parents are the first teachers to children. So, uye ba time, uye ba, uni ochreche ni a udi kan mawoba. Enyo chreche ni na aban chenika na uyi sika dutia school fees ni educhenika no. Wuna udi kan yo ochreche ni no mawoba. You become the first teacher. Ewonye enufiela banto yene view kadogo kafiachi. So the values children learn at home often stay with them for life. Nio efie de vie. Okay? Nio fiega de vie. Yo kogachi cho de vima akochi. Because owonye no fien like banto, owo jilanye no fien like banto, wa meche chiele de vienti, wa meche chiene la pie melegama, owo ekpi de fi opete mile, area rekame. Owenye no fien like ba ye de vie ekado kafi agale school home. So the play reminds us that discipline, honesty, respect, and empathy should be nurtured right from an early age. Academic success is important, but raising responsible and principled children is even more valuable. Be aklavi, wanye via no amadume, wanye aklavi, bere ne ku alo barek beme kaliwe. Divima achi anya mekeke, amawa kwe akwasi tona na gobe ajila e kla divie ni. Tamenye school ko divia yi kwa dugoto magbebe hen, ekpo viji oho. Baklaye kokplecho akomahai. Iha pelon. So we all collectively have work to do. Now, as a young learner or student, what do you also learn, or can you also learn from this book? So you realize that many young people today face unemployment, uncertainty, and frustration. The frustration is already there, especially if you're not born with a silver spoon in your mouth. But I bet you there are people born with silver spoons in their mouth that are more frustrated than people like us. So the play acknowledges these challenges without pretending they do not exist. At the same time, you realize that it warns against allowing disappointment to justify unethical choices. Many be ojinye de ohia metai, ojinye de efupekpe metai. Ale metrozo sebita flat metrozo ashawo tai. Many nye well. Ojinye de hiam, ni mapo jila, ni mapo na, ni mapo tatel Kenya hai. Ni metrozo ashawi. America maka bebe enye well. No. You can't justify unethical behaviors because of the disappointment or your background or where you're coming from. No. The book is telling us that we can't proudly say that I am here, I am stealing, I am, doing all these fraudulent acts because I came from a background with nothing. You can't justify unethical behaviors or choices. No. So as a young learner, there are difficult circumstances that you go through. It should not rather change you for the worse, but it should rather inspire you. It should rather inspire your resilience, your creativity, and determination, but not push you towards crime or corruption. So why does this play still matter in 2026? This is perhaps the most important question so far in this write-up. So the message from this book is remarkably relevant across Africa and beyond, in the Western world, wherever, across the globe. Societies continue to grapple with corruption, unemployment, inequality, weak institutions, and debates most about responsible leadership. Technology has changed. Yes, now we have AI. Yes, things have advanced. Robots are moving here and there in most parts of the Western world. The world has changed. It's even going to change more than it has now. So, but many of the moral questions raised by the play remain unresolved. Yeah, that is why this work continues to be studied, discussed, and performed. Recently, is it Fifi Coleman? Yes, Productions usually acts as this play on stage at the National Theatre in Ghana. I think twice or three times in a year. It's so beautiful, and frankly speaking, I'm yet to go and sit and watch. And I know it's going to give me the best laugh of but of the day, depending on the day I watch it. But then watching clips and trailers about the stage performances, anytime I watch that on social media, then I become so enlightened, so happy that at least a lot of people are not just people are really reading this book and seeing the essence of it. Okay, so this book reminds us that while history moves forward, human values often remains the same. So should every Ghanaian read Prison Graduate? Yes. Every student, every parent, every teacher, every leader, every not just reading memoirs or biographies. No, you can also read this because this is more like speaking to everybody. So in my opinion, yes, I'll say yes and yes again that everyone has to read this book. So not because it is I don't know. Let me say not because it has all the answers to life, okay, but because it asks the right questions. It brings to bear the roots, the weaknesses of the society we live in. It encourages us to reflect on the kind of nation we want to build, the kind of future we want to see our great-grandchildren live in. It reminds us that the change begins with individuals, with me, with you, before it reaches institutions. After all, it's individuals that make up the institution. So it challenges each of us to examine our own role in shaping our immediate society before graduating to the bigger society. So my final reflection on this beautiful masterpiece is I would like to leave you with one final thought, okay? Perhaps the greatest prison is not the one built with concrete walls and steel bars, no. Perhaps the greatest prison is a society where corruption becomes normal, where honesty is mocked, where justice is delayed, okay, and where people stop believing that change is possible. It scares me when I'm in a public transport and then I hear passengers say, "Oh, on mine I say, she know I'll be able to me. Oh, Ghana blend. When I recommend I learn too. Okay, me do oh Ghana me no go." When I hear that, then I don't know. I feel there's this uneasiness that swells up in my stomach. On mine I ye, ebe ye, ejina mene woso. Enye klo waga wanyo. Akplan le couton couton. Akenye klo dagge a kwapiti ajolem. Okay, the preparing the banku, okay, it's full of lamps, okay, as I started, but I'm going to cook it so well that I'm going to mash out all the lamps in it. Yeah, that's what I was saying in a way. If you're asking which language I'm speaking, so I'm speaking a bit of the Akan and the Tree language, and I'm speaking a way. So E.K.Mawugbe, as you know, is an ewe, was an ewe, will forever remain an ewe. May his soul rest in perfect peace. So he challenges us to break free from that prison, not from violence, but through integrity, courage, respect, responsibility, and hope. If enough people choose those values, then you realize that perhaps the next generation will inherit a society that is freer, fairer, and more just than one we have today. Thank you for joining me through this series on prison graduates. If these episodes have helped you appreciate African literature, open your eyes to different perspectives and the roots in our society today in any way possible, please support the channel by liking this video, subscribing to the page, and sharing it with others. And finally, I would love to hear from you. So what lessons from prison graduates touched you the most? If there's any other I didn't talk about, obviously, kindly leave it in the comments section below. Let's continue the conversation because great literature lives on through discussions. Until next time, keep reading, keep learning, and keep asking difficult questions. Thank you for watching, and God bless you. Mawu na yirao. Nyami nshirao. Nyumo. Nyumo ajobo. Yeah. Mwah.